Welcome back to Master 79. In this lesson, we will build a Band 9 answer to an ielts writing task 2 question about free university education. We will unpack the question, brainstorm both sides, choose a position, and then write the essay in full. Here is the task. University education should be free for all students. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Read it twice before you write anything at all. Step 1. Unpack the question. This is an agree or disagree essay, and because it asks to what extent a partial position is perfectly acceptable, the pressure point is the word all. It invites you to test whether making education free for absolutely everyone is really the best route. You have 40 minutes and you need at least 250 words. Step 2. Choose your position. You could agree completely, disagree completely, or agree in part. Total agreement is easy to plan but forces you to ignore the strongest counter-arguments. Total disagreement is hard to defend fairly. Partial agreement is the strongest option here because it lets you argue both sides and still be perfectly clear. Step 3. Brainstorm both sides before you commit. On the left, the reasons to make it free. Talent is spread evenly across society, but wealth is not, so fees screen out able students rather than weak ones. Debt aversion hits first-generation applicants hardest. Graduates repay society anyway through a lifetime of higher income tax. On the right, the problems with free for all. The funding is regressive because non-graduates who earn less end up subsidizing future high earners. Demand outstrips the budget, so places get capped and quality falls. And there is an opportunity cost because the same money could fund schools or vocational training instead. Step 4. Lock in your thesis. Cost must never decide who goes to university, but universal free tuition is the wrong mechanism. Defer the cost instead of abolishing it. That one sentence is now the spine of the essay, and every body paragraph must visibly serve it. Step 5. The paragraph plan. The introduction paraphrases the issue and states the partial position outright. Body 1 concedes the strong side. Body 2 gives the counter case. Body 3 resolves the tension, and the conclusion restates the position in fresh wording, with no new ideas. Here is the introduction. It is sometimes argued that higher education ought to be provided at no cost to every student. While I firmly agree that a person's financial circumstances should never determine whether they attend university, I do not accept that universal free tuition is the fairest or most sustainable means of achieving this, and I therefore agree only in part. Notice the paraphrase. Higher education replaces university education, and at no cost replaces free. And by the end of the paragraph, the position is unmistakable. Body 1 concedes the strong side. The case for removing cost barriers is compelling. Academic talent is distributed fairly evenly across society, whereas wealth plainly is not. When a degree carries a substantial price tag, capable students from low-income households are deterred long before they ever submit an application, either by the prospect of decades of debt or by the immediate pressure to start earning. The nation consequently loses the doctors, engineers, and teachers those students might have become, and social mobility stalls from one generation to the next. One idea, fully developed. Barrier, then mechanism, then consequence. Body 2 turns the argument around. Universal free provision, however, generates difficulties of its own, because tuition must ultimately be financed from general taxation. Part of the cost falls on non-graduates who typically earn less, producing the regressive outcome in which a factory worker subsidizes the training of a future corporate lawyer. Furthermore, when a place costs the student nothing, demand tends to outstrip the funding available. Governments then respond by capping enrollment or by spreading resources more thinly, so seminar groups swell and contact hours shrink. Free access can quietly become inferior access. That short final sentence lands the paragraph after two long ones, and sentence variety is part of your grammar score. Body 3 resolves the tension. A more defensible arrangement is one in which the cost is deferred rather than abolished. Under an income contingent repayment scheme, graduates contribute only once their earnings pass a defined threshold, and those who never reach it pay nothing at all. This preserves the vital principle that nobody is excluded at the point of entry, while ensuring that those who capture the greatest private benefit from their qualification also shoulder a proportionate share of its cost. This is the paragraph that turns a two-sided answer into a clear position. And the conclusion. In conclusion, although I share the objective underlying calls for free university education, I believe that means-tested grants combined with income-contingent contributions pursue that objective far more equitably than the blanket abolition of fees. Same position, fresh wording, and no new argument. Here is the complete essay on one slide, so you can see the shape of the whole thing. Pause the video and read it through. Notice how each paragraph opens by announcing its job, and how the position never wavers from the first paragraph to the last. Here is the language bank. Learn these as whole phrases, not as single words, for signaling a partial position. I therefore agree only in part, while I firmly agree that, I do not accept that, for conceding and then pivoting. The case for it is compelling. It generates difficulties of its own. A more defensible arrangement is one in which, and the precise collocations, social mobility stalls. Demand outstrips the funding available, shoulder a proportionate share of the cost, excluded at the point of entry. So why does this reach band 9? Task response. A clear partial position, stated in the introduction and sustained to the final line, with both sides developed rather than merely mentioned. Coherence and cohesion. 5 paragraphs, one central idea each, where the cohesion comes from the argument itself rather than from bolted-on linkers. Lexical resource. Topic-precise collocation, used naturally, with no padding. And grammatical range. Complex sentences handled accurately and deliberately varied in length. One important caveat. This assessment is my own internal quality check against the public ielts band descriptors. It is not a score from a certified examiner. Now your turn. Right body 2 arguing the opposite, that universal free tuition is worth its cost. Keep the same concede then pivot shape. Post your paragraph in the comments and I will read them. If this helped, subscribe to bmaster79 for more band 9 walkthroughs. See you in the next lesson.